Chapter 3, B, half a step. I stayed quiet. The whistle was already at the coach's mouth. Zoe was already setting herself over the ball again, and the words were there if I wanted them. Same run, play it again. Easy enough. But I didn't say them. Maybe because I didn't know if I had the right to. Maybe because the handshake in the corridor had already felt like enough effort for one morning. Maybe because backing someone out loud meant giving them something, and with Zoe, I still wasn't sure how much I was willing to give. So I said nothing. The whistle went. Zoe played the pass again. This time, the weight was better, and I made the run early enough to reach it. The move worked, just about. Not cleanly, not the way it could have. My first touch had to stretch a little, and the defender got close enough to force my shot wide, but the pattern was there. The coach nodded, though not with the same sharp approval as before.
Better,
She called.
but the timing has to be earlier. Both of you.
Both of you. I jogged back into position, breathing through my nose, pretending that didn't land. Zoe collected the next ball near the cone without looking at me. Her face had settled back into calm, but not the same calm as before. This one had edges. I knew because I recognized it. It was the kind of calm people used when they didn't want to show they had expected more. The rest of the drill carried on. Zoe's passes were still good. Mine were still sharp. On paper, it probably looked fine. A right-sided forward and attacking midfielder getting used to each other, learning the movements, building timing in a new system. Nothing dramatic, no arguments, no obvious problem. But football had never needed obvious problems to feel wrong. Sometimes it was half a step late on the run, half a second too long before releasing the ball, half a glance that should have been a shout, the kind of thing coaches noticed before players admitted it. When the drill ended, one of the assistants called everyone in for water. I walked towards the bottles with my hands on my hips, rolling my shoulders back like I could shake the tightness out of them. Zoe reached the crate a second before me. She picked up a bottle, took a drink, then passed one in my direction without quite looking at me. I took it. Cheers. She nodded. That was it. No comment about the run. No dry little line. No attempt to fill the space. Just polite silence, which somehow felt worse than if she had snapped at me. I twisted the cap off and drank too quickly, the cold water hitting the back of my throat.
You two are close,
A voice said beside us. I turned. Ellis from Northbridge stood there with one eyebrow lifted, a grin tugging at her mouth. She was one of those players who always looked like she knew something even when she probably didn't. Sharp runner, sharp eyes, sharp mouth. Zoe didn't react. I lowered the bottle. Hilarious. Ellis smiled wider.
Just saying, lot of chemistry on that side.
It's a drill.
Sure.
I gave her a look. She lifted both hands, still grinning, and walked backwards towards the rest of the group.
Don't bite me, Higgins. I bruise easy.
Zoe watched her go, then finally glanced at me.
Friend of yours?
Played against her twice.
That explains the fear.
She should be scared. Zoe's mouth moved like she might have smiled, but it didn't quite happen. I hated that I noticed. Before either of us could say anything else, the head coach called us back in and split the squad for an internal training match. 11 against 11, shortened halves, full pitch. Enough structure to test what we'd worked on. Enough freedom for everyone to expose themselves if they switched off. Zoe and I were kept on the same side. Right channel again. The coaches didn't say anything about it, but they didn't have to. They wanted to see if the pattern held when there was pressure, when defenders weren't mannequins, and the game didn't reset politely after every mistake. I moved into position on the right, with Ellis ahead as the striker. She bounced on her toes near the centre-backs, constantly checking over her shoulder, already looking for the line she wanted to run through. I like that about proper strikers. They made defenders make choices before the ball even arrived. Zoe stood a few yards inside me, scanning the pitch as the teams got organised. I could have said something then, maybe not an apology. That would have been too much, and I wasn't even sure what I'd be apologising for. I hadn't done anything wrong by staying quiet. Not really. But I could have said something about the drill, about the pass, about the timing, anything to make the silence less careful. I didn't. The whistle blew and the match started fast. Too fast at first. Everyone had that first national session energy. the kind that made simple passes come too hard and touches bounce half a yard further than they should. Players wanted to impress. You could feel it in every sprint, every shout, every attempt to turn a normal training match into evidence. I understood it. I was doing it too. The ball stayed mostly on the left for the opening minutes, which gave me too much time to think. I held my width, watching the shape shift across the pitch, listening to the coaches call instructions from the sideline. When Zoe dropped deeper to receive, I noticed the way players reacted to her, the little adjustments, the trust, the expectation that if she had the ball, something useful would probably happen next. That was the kind of reputation she carried. And maybe that was why I hadn't backed her earlier. Not because she didn't need it, because part of me assumed she wouldn't, which was stupid. I knew better than anyone that being good didn't make pressure disappear. Sometimes it just meant people expected you to carry it quietly. Zoe got on the ball in the 8th minute, just inside our half, and turned away from pressure with one touch. I started to come short, offering myself to feet, but she lifted her head and played long instead, a curled pass into the space behind the fullback. I reacted late. Not enough to lose it completely, but enough that my first touch had to take me towards the touchline instead of goal. I kept it in, cut back, and found Ellis near the edge of the box. Her shot was blocked before it could properly trouble the keeper.
Earlier, Higgins!
The coach called. I jogged back, jaw tight. She was right. Zoe had seen the run before I had trusted it. Again. A few minutes later, we found ourselves in almost the same shape. Zoe picked up the ball between midfield and attack, her body half open, her eyes scanning the line in front of her. Ellis drifted across the centre-backs, dragging one with her, and the full-back in front of me took one step too far inside. The channel opened, small, temporary. There if I moved now. I could feel Zoe seeing it. That was the annoying part. It was like the pass existed in the air before she even touched the ball, and all I had to do was decide whether to believe in it. She didn't shout, she didn't point, she just shaped her body, and I knew. The run was there, so was the safer option. I could check short, take it to feet, keep control, play the way I wanted. No risk of being overhit, no risk of looking stupid if the pass didn't come. No risk of relying on Zoe Stevenson to see me and find me exactly when she needed to. Or I could go, trust the space, trust the timing, trust her. The word sat badly in my head. Trust. We weren't there. Not really. A handshake didn't build it. Staying quiet certainly hadn't. And yet the football kept dragging us towards it anyway, little by little, whether I liked it or not. The coach's voice cut across the pitch.
Timing!
The fullback shifted again, ready for me to come short. Zoe still had the ball. The gap was already starting to close. I had maybe 1 second, maybe less. Make the run she'd seen, or break the pattern before it could ask too much from me.